little bit about myself. My name is Janet Moriema. I've been involved with Max International for 4.5 years. I'm a silver associate, and this company is my passion in my life right now because I was introduced to this initially by a very kind friend. She's here in the audience. Her name is Bernadette Simoni. And little did I know 2 months later that I was going to be bitten by a tick. And as a result, 6 months later, I discovered I had a tick-borne illness. Now, from there, I suffered a series of symptoms, which I had no control of, which led me to a visit to see a doctor, a Lyme doctor in Florida, where he really validated the products for me, and the longer I was on them, the healthier I would get, and here I am. So the day I had brain fog, I had neurological problems, I had to sleep a lot just to survive, and now I'm running half marathons. And the energy that these products give me are like, I'm just so thankful. So I just want to pass this on, and this is what we all do here as a community. We pass this on. John Hobbs, he is a silver associate. He's been with Max for 8 years. He's got 2 daughters, 2 beautiful daughters, and a grown granddaughter. He was a senior information management consultant to government organizations. And just before Christmas, he wrapped up a 50-year career in information systems. So now he focuses all his energies on Max because he's passionate and he wants to help people. So let's give a round of applause for John Hobbs.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I should probably tell you a little story. I've got several stories I can tell, but this one has to do with what got me into Max. 8.5 years ago, I was introduced to the company, and as was mentioned, I'm a systems guy. I've been a systems guy for a very long time, so I take an analytical approach to things, and I'm a skeptic. And I went to a meeting somewhat like this one, and they talked about the science, and they talked about the products, and they hinted at all kinds of benefits. Of course, they couldn't say things specifically, and I didn't understand that then, but I understand the reason now. Some regulatory limitations on what we can actually say. And I said, well, this is too good to be true, and if it's too good to be true, it probably ain't true. But I did some research, lots of research. And I said, damn, it makes sense. So, one of the pieces of information that was given to me was a list of diseases and conditions that are associated with stuff we might be able to help with. And I'm scanning up and down the list, and oh, my sister has this. Oh, my mother has that. If it can help them, I'm in. I don't care what I get out of the business. This is about helping. So I went back to my hometown, about a 5-hour drive from here. Spent a long weekend with them and convinced them both to go on the product. I'll tell you about my sister. For the prior 25 years or so, she had difficulty getting out of bed in the morning, either too much pain or not enough energy or both. In fact, 3 or 4 days out of the week, she couldn't get out of bed. When she did get up, anything she did caused her huge amounts of pain and drained energy like mad. That was no way to live. She got on the products. Every couple of weeks, I'd call my mom to find out how things were going with her, and then during the course of the conversation, I'd say, well, how's Sue doing? Oh, she's doing all right. A couple of weeks later, how's Sue doing? Oh, she's doing all right. Stuff was supposed to help. How's Sue doing? Oh, she's doing all right. Well, about 10 weeks later, how's Sue doing? Oh, she's had a particularly bad day today. Oh. Well, you know those pills you gave her? Yes. Well, her energy levels are up so much, her pain levels are down so much, she's doing stuff she hasn't done in 20 years, and her muscles are complaining. And then Mom starts to cry. She says, "Thank you for giving your sister her life back." Think I've got a good reason to stay in Max? Yeah. And there's a video I want to play that is produced by an independent group of folk.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide. The average Canadian will spend their last 10 years in sickness. Change your future at makehealthlast.ca.
I don't know about you, but I'd prefer to be the guy on the left. And I'm that kind of age. And I'm feeling pretty good. So why are you here today? Well, perhaps you want to break free. Break free from what? Well, break free perhaps from financial constraints. Break free perhaps from a job over which you have very little control of what you do and how you do it. They get you down. Perhaps break free of some other constraints in your life. Or perhaps, as illustrated by that photo on the right, you want to be healthy and active and in good shape. Max provides some opportunities in this arena. This is the business of the future, 21st century. And if you are diligent, you can break free of some of those financial constraints. And if you pay attention to some of our products, you might be able to break free from some of your physical constraints too, and help others to do the same kind of thing. We've got some really, really, really good leadership in our company. Joe Wojtycki is the CEO of Max. He's a Harvard-trained lawyer. He tells us from time to time that he went to school with Barack Obama. The thing that is important is that he is a leader. He leads us in the right directions from a corporate perspective. He has confidence in our ability to grow our business at a phenomenal rate, and perhaps in directions we didn't anticipate, but as you think about them, they are superb. Jim Stravaglia is the president of Max, and his primary role, he also used to be a lawyer, probably still is a lawyer, but I don't think in private practice. But he's using his legal skills to lead our foray into foreign markets. He deals with all of the legal and regulatory issues involved with getting us into new countries. And he does that job superbly. And the rate at which we expand is somewhat limited by the regulations and roadblocks put in the way of some of these countries. And it is also limited by our capacity to grow. We don't have an unlimited war chest for growth in all kinds of countries all at once. So we have to pick and choose where we put our efforts. And Larry Lowe, who is here today, is our Chief Marketing Officer. He's someone who spent his time on Madison Avenue doing all those great, wonderful things that the advertising folks do, and he is very, very good at his job. And since he came on board, our messaging has been improved and is clearer. And thank you, Larry. In terms of medical research, Robert Keller was the developer of our original product. It's GXL. He was on the review panels for the National Institutes of Health and the Veterans Administration. For those folks, he was rated one of the top 2,000 scientists of the 21st century. He published more than 100 peer-reviewed articles, and that is a significant number. The vast majority of doctors never publish one peer-reviewed article. And Herb Nagasawa. He is a doctor of medicinal chemistry, major researcher over the course of, I don't know how many years it is now because he's still doing research every day in the lab. He was 32 years a senior editor of the Journal of Medicinal Chemistry, which is world-renowned for its quality of information it produces. And he, as of this slide, 165 peer-reviewed articles. I think the number is up into the 170s somewhere now. Just a phenomenal academic, but a really pragmatic scientist. He is the fellow that gave us ribosine. We've got a health advisory council, a whole bunch of MDs and PhDs that are there to help guide the company, provide advice, and as it happens, I'm not going to go through all these names, but they come from different specialties. We are honored to have one of that number with us today, Dr. John Kindle from Ottawa. Welcome, John. Appreciate you being here. Now, what brought all these folk together? A couple of really important global concerns. One is the declining state of our health, and the other is the declining state of our finances as individuals. Poverty levels are going up like mad. There's a huge unemployment crisis, and a larger one looming. As I said, I'm in the information systems business. I've seen the advances in technology from when I first came into the business. The computer system that I first started on would fill this room. My smartphone has more power and is faster and has far more memory. That piece of equipment cost $10 million installed. My smartphone costs less than $1,000. That rate of progress is continuing with artificial intelligence, and that is going to be replacing a whole bunch of folk that thought they had secure jobs. And there's a loss of opportunity as a consequence of all this stuff. In terms of declining health, well over 80,000 chemicals in our air, our water, and our food, and we consume it whether we want to or not. Take this room, for example. We are breathing the air. There are pollutants coming off the carpets. There are pollutants coming off of the wallpaper on the walls and the glue that's holding the wallpaper onto the walls. There are pollutants coming from the lights. There are pollutants coming from the sound baffles. You're breathing it in all the time and you can't avoid it. There were over 200, I think the number was 247 foreign chemicals found in human blood. This was a result of a test done of umbilical cords of children. Their mother had taken some of these chemicals in, and we think of the placenta as filtering everything. It doesn't. Dangerous stuff. Unprecedented levels of stress, poor diets, lack of energy, fatigue, joint issues, and the list goes on. I told you the story about my sister. Around my house, they refer to the Max capsules as John's Magic Pills. And every time they say it, they smile. And they're kind of serious because what happened to both my sister and my mom seemed magical. But it's not magic. It's solid science.